Good morning, everyone. How are you? This is our visual session number 3. Please rate me if you are there because we are going to start the class. Okay, please write me if you are there and if you can hear me. Are you listening to me? Please write me in your messages if you can hear me. Now I can see that Ricardo, Fanny, they were online. Okay, thank you, Gali. As always, punctual. Very good. Now we are 4 online. Okay. Welcome, Aurelio. How are you? Okay. Welcome, Ricardo. Welcome. This is our visual session number 4. Well, actually, yeah. Number 3, because we have a special one that was about achieve. So with this will be session number 4. Okay. Galilee, answering your question. Yeah, bring your notebook. Have your notebook there, but do not write anything. Hello, Rosa. Welcome. Now, do not write anything. Just open your notebook because this is a topic that we already check. This is a topic that we copied before this emergency, and it's was and were. So this is a topic that you already have. So do not write anything. Just have your notebook there, and that's it. Okay. And if you want to check if you have this, open your notebook and compare, okay? And in case that you want to write some comments or notes, important notes, or maybe examples, write them. But if you have everything complete, do not write anything. Just pay attention to me, okay? Well, so now remember that I'm trying to make these sessions interactive because I'm registering participations. So I'm using ClassDojo at the same time. Meanwhile, I'm explaining to you this topic. I'm also using ClassDojo to register all your participation. So how are you participating? Well, you write the answers in the chat, okay? So now, let's start. And we have this that it's called use of verb to be in past, okay? Well, I will show you this. Then we have, well, this is our topic, use of verb to be in past. Remember, the verb to be is, in this case, in past, was and were. But in present, we have it as am, is, or are, okay? And we have an example here. And it says we have a timeline with the past, the present, and the future, of course. But it's important to us at this moment is the past, okay? But this is only an example for you to see the comparison, okay? In the present, we say he is tall, okay? That in Spanish will be él es alto. But if we want to say that in past, we don't use is anymore. Now we use was. And you have it here in the timeline with red color. He was short. He was short in the past because now in the present he is tall. So this is our example, okay? And as we saw in class, we have our pronouns. We have I, you, then the third person, he, she, it, and then the others. You, we, and they. Remember, with the pronoun I, we are going to use was. With the pronoun you, we are using were. Mhm. With the third person that it's he, she, it, we are using was because it's singular. Mhm. And finally, with the plural, we are using with the pronouns you, we, and they, the verb to be were. Mhm. Remember, you, it's repeated in singular and plural as well because in singular means two. Mhm. But in plural, you means ustedes, okay? So that is plural. Remember, singular, only one. Mhm. Plural, two or more. Mhm. So tell me if you have questions so far. Write in the chat if you have questions. Uh-huh. Remember, this is a topic that we already checked. You have it in your notebook. Do you have it in your notebook? Did you find it in your notebook? Please open your notebook and check it because I'm pretty sure that we copied this in our notebook. There was and were. So this is only a review, es un repaso, ¿ok? Este tema no es nuevo. Si no mal recuerdo, nosotros ya lo vimos. Ajá, solamente quiero que quede claro, reafirmar lo que ya habíamos visto, porque vamos a, bueno, en Schoology, no sé si ya se habrán metido, tenemos ese tema, ¿no? Me dice Gael Rosa que no. Yo me acuerdo que sí, was somewhere, chequenme bien. A lo mejor unos 2 o 3 temas atrás que vimos, ahí deben de tener was and where. A ver, Aurelio, Fanny, chequenle. Ricardo, a lo mejor Ricardo no lo tengas porque creo que los últimos días faltaste, ¿no? Pero bueno, yo me acuerdo que sí, ya tenemos este tema. Si no, chequenlo. A lo mejor 2 o 3 temas atrás de la última actividad que hicieron ojeen su libreta y chequen que lo tengamos para que podamos continuar. Ah, ya dice Gael que sí. Ok. Entonces, a ver, Aurelio, Fanny, andan por ahí. Díganme si lo tienen o no. ¿Quién más está en línea? Ajá, dice Gaeli, we rated in the session 114. Ah, ok, sale. Muy bien, Fanny. También dice que sí. Entonces, como les decía, ya este tema ya no es algo nuevo. Muy bien, Aurelio. Ya no es algo nuevo, ya es algo que ya tenemos en la libreta. Ajá. Es más, hasta vimos un video que creo que también lo incluí en esta presentación, entonces no es algo nuevo, ya lo tenemos. Ajá. Entonces, nada más es un repaso. ¿Por qué? Porque si ya se metieron a Schoology, en esta semana nada más les dejé 2 actividades. Ajá. Para esta semana solamente tienen 2 actividades y obviamente una de esas 2 actividades tiene que ver con esto. Por eso es que ahorita lo estoy recordando nuevamente el tema. Ajá. Para que cuando realices el ejercicio en Schoology no tengas problema de no poderlo contestar. Ahí también ya dice Rosa que sí. Ok. Entonces creo que hasta el momento vamos bien. So tell me questions about was and where. Remember, once more, in the singular with our pronouns, we use was. With you, we use were. With the third person, he, she, it, we always use was. And finally, with the plural, that it's you, we, and they, we use were, okay? But tell me, which would be the meaning of this verb to be was and were in Spanish? For example, I was a famous singer. I was a famous singer. Which will be the meaning of was and were? I'm pretty sure that maybe you have it in your notebook. What is the meaning of was and were in Spanish? The example is, I was a famous singer. I will write it in the chat. I was a famous singer. The meaning in Spanish of was, meaning of was and were. Tell me. Remember, I'm registering participations. Meaning of was and were. I was a famous singer. That was the example. I was a famous singer. Now, which will be the meaning of was and were? Fui o fuimos. ¿No? Yo fui una cantante famosa o yo era. Recuerden que el verbo to be, que es uno de los verbos más importantes en inglés, es la base del inglés, significa ser o estar. For example, if I will say, I was at the hospital yesterday, ahí el significado ya no sería el mismo, no significaría yo era, en este caso, I was at the hospital, yo estuve, por eso es que significa ser o estar, pero obviamente en pasado, ¿ok? Fui, era, muy bien, Galilei, muy bien, Aurelio, ¿ok? Entonces, well, I'm registering. What do you think? Oh, we have a problem with Class Dojo. I don't know what is happening to this. Maybe it's not working well. What do you think if we register triple participations? Triple participations in this virtual session. Tell me if you agree they're not triple or double. What do you think? Oh, we have problems with Class Dojo. Well, I'm registering your participations in my notebook, meanwhile, because Class Dojo it's not working well. But Galilei and Aurelio, you are the first with participations, okay? And I will register them triple. Okay, very good. Okay, spin the wheel. Well, that will be good, but I think it is not possible to receive you and a friend triple. Okay, everyone says triple. Okay, well, we continue, because we don't have enough time now. As I was telling you, now we have the affirmative and the negative structure. Okay, in the affirmative, as I mentioned, we have was and were. Now in the negative, we have the long form was not, or if we want a shorter way to say exactly the same, we have wasn't with the apostrophe and a T in this case, wasn't. Was not and wasn't is exactly the same. That is negative. Then with were, affirmative. We were, you were, they were. And in the negative, we have exactly the same. Were not. Remember, was not and were not is formal. It's formal. But when we speak, or when we have a conversation with another person, we used to apply more contractions. Wasn't and weren't. But remember, wasn't and were, it's exactly the same as was not and were not. Okay? So do you have questions at this point? Tell me. And now we have here Angela. Welcome. Welcome to our virtual session. Very good. Now we are 6. And where is Maximo? Who's missing? Max, Juliet, Sebastian, who else? Another, well, the absent. Okay, well. Questions about the affirmative and the negative? Tell me. Write me if you have questions in the chat. Aurelio, do you have a question? Because you wrote yes. Okay, well, I will show you some examples. But these examples are, if I'm not wrong, affirmative. Okay, so we have affirmative here. First example, my children, remember children, it's plural, that means niños. My children were at the parking lot. Mis hijos, mis niños, estaban o estuvieron En el estacionamiento. Parking lot. Estacionamiento. Okay? That is past. Then we have another. Jane was very responsible. So write me that in Spanish. Jane was very responsible. And the other, the students were in the classroom. So for participation, triple participations. Jane was very responsible in Spanish, and the students were in the classroom. So write me your answers in the chat, and I will be registering participations. Tell me. No, I don't have, you don't have questions. Okay, well, okay. So write me your answers of the meaning of these two, and I'm registering participations. Jane was very responsible. And the second, the students were in the classroom. Okay, very good, Aurelio. I'm registering other participations for you. And Ángela, los estudiantes estaban en la clase. Okay, good. Okay, very good, Garely. Very good. Very good. So I'm registering Garely, Aurelio, Natalia participations. Okay, so this is affirmative. This is affirmative. Very good. This is affirmative structure. Okay, now tell me exactly the same three, but now in negative. Tell me exactly the same three. My children were at the parking lot. Jane was very responsible, and the students were in the classroom, but now in negative. Could be with a contraction, wasn't and weren't, or in the long way that it was not, were not. And participations. Okay. Ricardo, you wrote, los alumnos estaban en el salón de clases. Well, okay. Okay. Rosa, be careful with your answer because you wrote, Jane es responsable, and we are not in present. We are not in present. This is past. And the other, it's also wrong because it says los estudiantes están en el salón. Remember, this is past, and you are writing in present. Okay. Natalia wrote, my children weren't at the parking lot. Okay. Aurelio, my children weren't at the parking lot. Very good. My children weren't at the parking lot. Okay. Galilei, Aurelio, and Natalia participations. Okay. Very good. What about Jane was very responsible? Angela, Jane wasn't very responsible. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. The three of you, Galilei, Aurelio, and Natalia. Very good. Okay, so, and the third, the students weren't in the classroom. Okay, very good. Yes, Aurelio, as well as Natalia. The students weren't in the classroom. Very good. Just be careful with the apostrophes. Okay, so more participations. And yes, very good. The three of you. And the other guys? Why aren't you participating? Ricardo, Rosa, Fanny, you're so quiet. I think that I only have three students in my class. Galilei, Aurelio, and Fanny, and the others participate. Okay, so I think it's clear. Okay, I already registered your participation, so we continue. And as you were telling me, okay, I'm showing you the negative, the affirmative, the negative as you told me. My children were not at the parking lot. That is not a contraction, but check the number two. Jane wasn't very responsible. I'm using a contraction, okay? As well as in number 3, the students weren't in the classroom, okay? Or were not in the classroom. It's exactly the same, okay? Well, this is a video. I think you already watched it. So let's skip it and let's check the interrogative. Okay, now interrogative. We previously checked affirmative, negative, and now interrogative. Okay, now we have this table complete. Affirmative. I, he, she, it was. We, you, they were. Negative. I, he, she, it was not or wasn't. We, you, and they were not or were. Now, in interrogative, we only change the position of the pronoun and the verb to be. So now, the verb to be, was, and were go first, then the pronoun, then a complement, and don't forget the question mark. So now we have was I, was he, was she, was it, were we, were you, or were they. So that's the interrogative. We only change the position of the verb to be, was, and were, and the pronouns, okay? And we have the examples here. Exactly the same. We have them here in affirmative, and now we change them into interrogative. And check the first one. We have, were my children at the parking lot? So we have first the verb to be, then the pronoun that in this case, or the person, is my children, the complement that it's at the parking lot, and the question mark. Question mark, signo de interrogación. If we don't put a question mark, that is not a question, okay? Then the second example, we have, Jane was very responsible. Interrogative. Was Jane very responsible? We have was first, then the person, in this case, is Jane, and the complement, were very responsible. And then the number 3. The students were in the classroom. We have the interrogative form. Were the students in the classroom? We have the verb to be were, because it's plural, students is plural. Then we have the person, in this case, the students is the person, the complement, in the classroom, and the question mark, okay? Do you have any question? Guys, write me if you have question, doubts. Okay, and you were writing the answers. Okay, very good, Galilei. You wrote to me is first, was, and were. Exactly. In interrogative, the verb to be, was, and were go first, then the pronoun or the person, pronoun he, she, it, you, we, they, or person. Children, my uncle, my dad, the teacher, and then the complement and the question. Exactly. Okay. So very good, Rosa. As well as Fanny. Very good. Very good. So now we have this, and then we have this summary. Okay. This is for you to check. And it says summary. Un resumen, okay? So remember, past simple of verb to be, we have in the negative, wasn't and weren't. Remember, was, we use it for singular, I, he, she, it, except in this case you, because you, it's a very special pronoun because it's both singular and plural. So in this case, we use you with were, not with was, with were. And, well, it says short answer, yes or no question. Remember, this is something that we also talk about in class. For example, was Jane very responsible? We only answer yes, she was, or no, she wasn't. Recordemos que estas preguntas, chicos, ya las analizamos, son preguntas que solamente se pueden responder con sí o con no. Jane era responsable, solo podemos decir sí o no. Obviamente no me están preguntando por qué no era responsable, simplemente me están preguntando si era o no era, ¿ok? Entonces vamos a responder con yes or no, then the pronoun, and in this case the verb to be, was or were. Okay, so we continue. And I have here an exercise for you. Do not write it, do not copy it. I only want you to answer in the chat. It says choose was or were. And we have number 1. So do not copy it in your notebook. No, this is just to practice here online. So only write me your answers in the chat, okay? And we have number 1. She, space, sat yesterday. Then we have number 2. We, space, at the zoo yesterday. We start with these first 2, okay? So write me your answers. And it says, choose was or were. Complete these sentences with was or were. And we have number 1. She sat yesterday. Okay. Very good, Fanny. Very good. She was. Okay, I'm registering your participation. Okay, very good, Angela. And Rosa, Ricardo, very good. And we have the number 2. We were at the zoo yesterday. Okay, very good. So I'm registering participation to all of you. Okay. Okay, very good. What about number 3? Check this. Mom and dad in a restaurant. Was or were? Was or were? Number 3. Mom and dad in a restaurant. And Galilee said were. Okay, because it's plural. We're talking about two people. Mom and dad. Mama y papa. Were. Very good, Fanny. Okay, so what about number 4? Very good, Angela. Number 4. They in the disco club last night. They in the disco club last night. Okay, Rosa wrote where they were. Okay, very good. Now, what about, very good, Natalia, very good, 4 where. What about number 6? Number 6. Very good, Aurelio. Number 6. I very hungry. Number 6. Write me number 6. Number 5 will be you were. You were late for school yesterday. Correct. What about number 6? Write me number 6. I, space, very hungry. Was or were? Okay, Natalia, you wrote me number 5. You were late for school yesterday. Okay, very good, very good. Aurelio, very good. Number 6. I was very hungry. Okay, very good. Very good, Galilee, as well as Rosa. Okay. So let's see. Number 10. Sally, a good pupil. Pupil, it's a student. So what about that number 10? Sally, what's her word? What's her word? Sally, a good pupil. Pupil, it's a student. Number 10. Number 10. Write to me. Exactly, Fanny. Sally was. Very good. Okay. Very good. So, and if we wanted to change this exercise, because it was affirmative, into the negative form, will be exactly the same, but only with not. She was not sad yesterday. Good, Angela. Number 10 is was. Or we were not at the zoo yesterday. Or for example, I was not very hungry. That will be the negative, or I wasn't. And well, into the interrogative form, we only change the position. Was she sad yesterday? That will be interrogative. Was she sad yesterday? What about the number 3? In interrogative. Mom and Dad were in a restaurant. Write me that, but in interrogative. Mom and Dad were in a restaurant. In interrogative. Write me that in interrogative. Number 3. Mom and Dad were in a restaurant. How would it be that exercise number 3, but in interrogative? Mom and Dad were in a restaurant. Remember, we only change the position of the verb to be, in this case were, with the pronoun or with the person, mom and dad. And Angela wrote, wasn't aware. Well, okay, that will be for negative. But I want, guys, number 3 in interrogative. Okay, Fanny wrote, were mom and dad in a restaurant? Good, very good, Fanny, very good. Yeah, exactly like that. Okay, exactly, very good. Were mom and dad in a restaurant? Okay, very good. So this was just for practicing. This was just for practicing because, as I mentioned at the beginning of this session, this is a topic that we saw in our class at school, but this is just to practice, okay? Okay, good, Aurelio. Were mom and dad in a restaurant? Exactly, Angela. And Ricardo, that one will be negative, but it's correct. In negative, it's correct. Very good. Very good, Rosa. Were mom and dad in a restaurant? Okay. Okay, questions, guys? Write me if you have any doubt, because we are going to finish. No? Questions? Write me. Ok. Para concluir, indicaciones, rapidísimo. Mañana, 9 de la mañana, nuestra sesión de Achieve. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Ya no les dejé Achieve para esta semana. Si se meten a Schoology, en la carpeta de la semana 2, nada más vienen 2 actividades. Pero yo no puse nada de Achieve para esta semana, simplemente las actividades que se quedaron la semana pasada, que son 2 lecturas que se llaman Can Cell Phones Keep Sickness Away? And What's Happening to See Stars. Esas 2 lecturas se supone que ya tendrían que estar contestadas. De hecho, ya chequé y vi ahí varias personas que ya lo contestaron. No analicé todavía sus porcentajes, fue muy rápido, pero el día de mañana voy a proyectar sus resultados para registrar las participaciones que ya habíamos quedado. Creo que Fanny y Aurelio ya las tenían hechas, entonces ustedes ya no se tienen que preocupar de absolutamente nada, solamente tengo yo que registrar sus participaciones. Y también creo que vi que Galeli también ya la tenía realizada. Entonces, los demás, no recuerdo si ya lo hicieron, pero si ya lo hiciste, pues ya no tienes nada de qué preocuparte, ¿ok? Simplemente mañana checamos y mañana, como obviamente eso es algo muy rapidísimo, vamos a dar un repasito de lo que vimos las sesiones anteriores, ¿no? De lo de, possessive nouns, ¿no? Con la apóstrofe y la S, ¿no? Para indicar que una cosa le pertenece a alguien. Mañana vamos a hacer un repaso o preguntas, dudas si tienen. Y eso sería todo, ¿ok? También otra cosa, chicos, ha habido como ciertos problemas con Schoology, obviamente, imagínense ahorita por toda esta situación, pues muchas personas en muchas partes del mundo, pues están utilizando estas plataformas y a lo mejor haya, no sé, una saturación, ¿no? Entonces, a lo mejor si tienes problemas para ingresar a Schoology, no te preocupes. De todas maneras, las actividades no tienen una fecha límite de entrega, o sea, tú las puedes ir haciendo poco a poco y entregarlas en cuanto te sea posible, ¿ok? Pero de todas maneras, si tienen alguna duda, me pueden, ya saben, escribir al correo o ahí en Schoology también pueden dejar un mensaje y yo los estaré contestando. Por lo mientras, ahorita hemos concluido, solamente la de práctica. Si se meten a Schoology, en la actividad, me parece que es la número 5, si no me equivoco, ahí es de Was You Were, de esto que vimos ahorita, ¿sale? Entonces, mañana nos vemos en nuestra sesión de Achieve en este medio a las 9 de la mañana, ¿ok? Entonces, espero que, a pesar de la situación, pues bueno, estén todos sanos, bien, con su familia y que sigamos trabajando de esta manera, ¿sale? Para que no nos atrasemos en nuestro trabajo. Bueno, les deseo lo mejor, chicos, y que tengan lindo día a todos. Bye, guys. Have a nice day and see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Bye.